as you can tell, it's a super dreary day over here in southwestern Ontario. Yeah, it's November, guys. Winter's coming. It feels close to freezing. Anyways, all that to say, it's a good day to sit inside with a cup of tea and talk about a book that has really been helpful for me in these dreary, dark, and sometimes depressing days. Hey guys, I just wanted to pop on today to talk about a really incredible book that has really influenced me recently. It's Boethius's The Consolation of Philosophy. This is a medieval text, but it's so relevant to today, as good literature should be. Maybe you're somebody who's going through something really hard in your life right now, whether that be sickness or loss or war or whatever it is. Or maybe you're like me and you are realizing how incredibly blessed you are, yet you still have things in your life that are not as they could be or not as they should be. You still have struggles. I think everyone, regardless of how affluently you live, regardless of who you're surrounded by, where you are in the world, just regardless of external circumstances, there are all things in our lives, inside our minds, that plague us and that try us and that are difficult to deal with. Now, if that is true, then I do think The Consolation of Philosophy is a book for everyone. I just wrote a piece on this book that is a lot more eloquent than what I'm about to say. I always find that communicating in person or to a camera, I just sound like a ditz half the time, but I feel much more confident in my writing. So if you're interested in checking out that piece, you can check out my Substack. The link is in the description box for this video. But I will attempt to share some of the things that The Consolation of Philosophy has taught me recently. So yeah, just trying to create a bit of a cozy ambiance over here. How's the lighting, guys? The lighting before made my hair look terrible. And suffice to say, vanity remains in my soul. Okay, so here is my short, hot little take on The Consolation of Philosophy by Boethius. I'm not gonna give away all the arguments, I'm not gonna give away the entire plot line, just because I think it's really important that you actually pick up this book and read it for yourself. It is a work of philosophy, but I think it's very accessible. It's not, Immanuel Kant. I think anyone can pick up this book, apply themselves, and take something away from it. It doesn't take a philosophy major. It doesn't even take someone who's academically gifted. I think this book is good for anyone who wants to learn how philosophy can help them in their daily life get through the struggles and trials that they have, how thinking, how searching for truth, how grasping that truth, and what is that truth. This book has answers, and of course it's open for debate and critique, as I'm sure many of you will do, but at the end of the day, there's something in here for all of us to walk away with, so highly recommend. Boethius wrote himself into this 6th century lament turn consolation. The story follows a prominent statesman who is awaiting his execution. He's been unjustly accused of treason, he's awaiting his trial, but he knows that at the end of the day he is going to be executed for something he did not do. He was wealthy, he was prominent, well respected, he had beliefs, he was a virtuous man, he clung to his beliefs. So he has no idea why, first of all, his God, who he firmly believes in, has allowed these bad things to happen to him. Where's the justice? Where's the justice, God? So he's got some major questions. He doesn't understand this twist of fate, and he wants answers for why this is happening. What is the purpose of this series of unfortunate events that has happened to him? So as Boethius is grappling with how he's going to cope, Lady Philosophy, who is philosophy embodied, appears to him in prison, and she dispels her wisdom and logic to shift Boethius' perspective, so that by the end of The Consolation of Philosophy, Boethius' faith and his hope is restored. The implications of Boethius' restoration are tremendous for readers who are also struggling with loss and disappointment. So I kind of walked away with 3 main solaces. Again, each of us are going to walk away with something different, but there is so much in here that you're gonna walk away with something. So solace number one, what comforts Boethius first, is that philosophy, or deep, intentional, and protracted thought, can bring us back to ourselves and to the reality of our existence when we've become entrenched in the darkness and vulgarity that is not, in fact, our natural state. Shortly after visiting Boethius in his despair, Lady Philosophy remarked, "He has forgotten for the moment who he is, but he will soon remember once he has identified me first." Lady Philosophy prompts Boethius to reflect on his life, his purpose, and his relationship to divine providence. Consequently, Boethius is directed to a proper understanding of the patterns established in the heavens and is restored to mental and spiritual health. If you want to know more about these celestial patterns, which I dare say explain everything, pick up the book and read it for yourself. The second solace that I took away from this book is that evil is powerless. Boethius questions why a good God would allow evil to exist and even reign in the world, and Lady Philosophy herself acknowledges that sometimes it seems like evil men are the one who prosper. Why would God allow this? Yet the lady declares, how blatant is the weakness of men who are corrupt. Both good and evil men seek happiness, which is the ultimate good, but because evil men are blind to what is good, they can never really achieve happiness. The power of evil men stems not from their strength, but from their weakness. And in the end, it will be the good men who obtain happiness, know God, and enjoy ultimate goodness forever. What is more effete than the blindness of ignorance, Lady Philosophy asks. I really can't think of anything. And the third solace is an interesting one. It's really not comforting to writers like myself and maybe like some of you. Lady Philosophy notes that writings themselves are of little avail, for in the long run, they and their authors are buried by the passage of time. Her implication is not that writing is a waste of energy, nor that the efforts of writers to make an impact on the world are foolish. However, she directs Boethius to consider his legacy in light of eternity. You men imagine, as you contemplate your future fame, that you are perpetuating your immortality, but fame which extends over any length of time, however extensive, if compared with unbounded eternity, is seen to be not just trifling, but wholly non-existent. Lady Philosophy wants Boethius to remember that fame, status, and everything associated with an earthly legacy is temporary. More, that is not where human identity is rooted, nor is it where we should place our hope. So finally, I have to share these words, this quote from Lady Philosophy that just struck me so profoundly. Lady Philosophy says to Boethius, addressing him, "What I look for is not library walls adorned with ivory and glass, but your mind's abode. For I have installed there not books, but what gives books their value, the doctrine found in my writings of old. It is not what we have amassed around us that will comfort us at the end of our days, but the truth of all things, if we properly use our minds to grasp it."